you are over the age of 35, stop everything you're doing right now. After a lifetime of eating fatty foods, you may run the risks of a stroke or heart attack due to plaque buildup in your veins and arteries. To learn how you can reduce your risks, visit youthfountainlab.com or call 1-800-853-7856 today. This may be a life-changing call for you or someone you love. Thank you, and we hope to hear from you.
All right, man. A few days ago, a clip resurfaced about popular podcast host Joe Rogan using the N word. Now, a lot of people have coming out denouncing him in DIRE, and one person, The Rock, was getting a lot of criticism for his public support of Joe Rogan. Well, The Rock has since retracted his claims, and he, pretty much retracting his support for Joe Rogan. Now, Don Winslow, right? Individual by the name of Don Winslow wrote to The Rock on Twitter. He put, "Dear at The Rock, you are a hero to many people, and using your platform to defend Joe Rogan, a guy that used and laughed about using the N-word dozens of times, is terrible use of power. Have you actually listened to this man's many racist statements about black people?" So The Rock actually responded on Twitter. He said, "Dear at Don Winslow, thank you so much for this. I hear you as well as everyone here 100%. I was not aware of his N-word use prior to my comments, but now I've become educated to his complete narrative. Learning moment for me. Mahalo, brother, and have a great and productive weekend. DJ," referring to Don, Winslow. I guess they have some type of relationship there. Now, I went back and I listened to what Joe Rogan said. I've seen it the other day, and I digested it, and I kind of let the smoke settle per se, because I wanted to see where people were coming from. Now I see a lot of people defending him. I see a lot of people coming out denouncing. I see a lot of people even lightening the load on Joe Rogan, and then I see a few people showing how powerful he is, and they're trying to censor him. They're trying to silence him, and that all may be the case. Now, first and foremost, I'm not going to sit up here and say whether he should be canceled or none of that, because he might be one of those dudes that's uncancelable. That's just a word that people are throwing around, right? And let's deal with the context real quick before I actually go all the way in on this, right? The context that he was pretty much saying, it was like, all right, man, like, this is getting ridiculous. Why can't we just come out and say the word? And my thing will be, if you want to say it that bad, say it, bro. Say it. Go in about it. Put your true feelings out there. I would rather, be around someone who, was going to just show me their sleeve, show me their whole hand, show me their whole heart, so I can make a decision whether I want to be, next to these people that have these different, ideologies. Now, I'm pretty sure, right, that every race of people have their different, stereotypes, I should say, about other races. They probably joke, and people say things about black people and about white people and Hispanic and Asian. This is just, everybody says their little things. The jokes and stuff that people say. But when it goes to the extent of using, a term that was used in such a derogatory way towards black people, it's equivalent to, somebody saying something negative about an Arab person, whatever that slang is, or an Asian person, or a Caucasian person, or a Jewish person, right? And that's why I'm a screech the brakes right there. So let's just let's go back to Whoopi Goldberg. Let's go back to Deshaun Jackson. Let's go back to Nick Cannon. Very different instances. Different things were said, but they all got equally reprimanded. Not because anyone came out and used a slur against someone, right? They didn't call them whatever the slur would be against a Jewish person. They didn't say that. They just had, different thoughts on history and what happened in history and who's called who. And they received the backlash they received. Like, all right, you got to get education. You got to donate. I'm going to take a show, whether it's a point in time or forever. We're going to make you reverse your ideology. We're going to make you apologize. We're going to put so much heat on you that you will never, ever think about in public disrespecting, even though some people don't think it's disrespect. They took it as disrespect, right? Disrespecting us in this particular way, right? Now, again, my thing is, if you want to say that, say it. If anybody wants to say anything, my thing is to say it. If you want, if you need to say it that bad, if you really want to get it out, put it out on the table. Now I've seen a lot of people like Donnell Rollins. I've seen a lot of people posting up stuff and saying, well, this could never be possible if this person didn't like this. And my thing is, how many times, right? And I'm not just not reflective of Joe Rogan. I don't know, who he is. I never met him, right? But how many times you've been in a room or been around people you don't like? You could tolerate people. You got to go to this little thing and there's people you don't really rock with. You're there, but you ain't really rocking with them outside of that. And it's just like, come on. Like, just because somebody sitting around doing a show with you, or you guys may, one day go for a walk down the park, don't mean that they have, different stereotypes or might feel a certain way about you. That's one thing I think we have to understand. I don't think that we quite understand the concepts, that we really live in right now, and the realities, I should say, that we really live in America. Now, I'm not surprised by Joe Rogan saying this, right? And I don't think anything's going to come of this. Whatever. I mean, he made his apology. I don't think he's going to be canceled or anything like that, right? But it's just, if you understand the history and not try to wipe it away and act like it never happened and all that, you would know that it's going to be lingering effects, or people that still feel that. I mean, if you was put in bondage in this country, enslaved in this country, I'm not going to go over all the stuff that was done. Read the history books. Go online. Like, you can just see what stuff that happened, whether it was exaggerated, whether it was undersaid, but what happened, we know that things happen. We know that we have, ancestors and people that told us particular stories about, I know I did, about how it was in the 50s and the 60s and even 30s and the 40s, and some even going back because they're kind of regurgitating the story that they heard from their deceased parents and grandparents. So to me, a lot, and I hate it at the end of the day, because all this stuff, to me, I think it's passed down. I think if you have ignorant parents, they, reflect, they say ignorant things to their children, and it reflects that way. You know what I mean? On the children. The children come up feeling some type of way about certain people. Me, I wasn't raised like that. I was raised to love everybody, give everybody a chance. I grew up with all different types of friends, man. I had Pakistani friends, had Asian friends growing up, I had Indian friends, I had black friends, I had white friends, Hispanic friends, whatever you want. I had all types of different friends that I rolled with growing up. And we learned at a young age. But know why? Because my parents, even though they had, obviously everybody has their experiences and they're going to say what they're going to say, but it was never, you should dislike this person because of their skin color. You should dislike this person because of this or because of that. Nah, if you dislike them, it's about something that they did to you, or something, the way they treated you, or something like that. Not because of how they look. Never was raised like that. So if Joe wants to say it, go on and say it. I'm just not surprised. I'm not surprised at it, man. I'm going to digress on this particular situation, and it really don't make me feel no different way about him. I never really felt a way about him anyway. But it's just, when I see stuff like this, I don't overreact. But I do like, and took a long time to get to this. Sorry, right? The Rock, him standing up and saying, "All right, like, it ain't about how you look, Joe. It's about what you just said, Joe." That's what The Rock did. He said, it's like, it ain't about that. Like, I thought you was one way. Now, maybe he may have a conversation and see it differently. But to me, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's a duck. It's a duck. So I'm a digress, man. I hope that you guys, enjoyed what I said right there. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit the like button, share the video, and make sure you guys subscribe to Hip Hop News Uncensored for more exclusive, just like this one. Peace.